Now, good morning, everyone. Today we'll start with the circuit breakers, and we will start with the switchgear and the evolution of the circuit breaker. That is, the switchgear and the evolution of circuit breaker. We can discuss what is the requirement of the circuit breaker and how it evolved over time. Switchgear and evolution of circuit breaker. We can use circuit breaker as CB. Now, first we have certain terminologies which are used. First is the gear. What is the gear? So gear, it refers to the set of equipment needed for a particular activity. So, set of equipment needed for a particular activity. And switchgear. What is switchgear? It is a general term which refers to any equipment used for carrying out switching operation in a power system. So, it is a general term which refers to any equipment which refers to any equipment used for carrying out switching operations in power system. Switching operation in power system. So, switchgear is actually a general term which refers to any equipment which is used for carrying out the switching operation in power system. And out of the switchgears, circuit breaker happens to be, out of these switchgear, circuit breaker, let it be represented by CV, it happens to be the most interesting, challenging, complex and costly. It is most interesting, challenging, complex, and costly. So we will discuss the switchgear here. Now, high voltage circuit breakers, if you see, it has evolved from a simple switching arrangement like the knife switch as shown in this figure, to SF6 and the vacuum circuit breakers. To SF6 and vacuum circuit breakers. And however, being a beginner, you might have this thing in mind, that what is so special, difficult about the breaking a circuit to warrant so much of attention and importance to it. So indeed, if you see at low voltages and currents, one fails to appreciate the phenomena of interrupting the current, because it is no problem in interrupting the low value of the current. However, as the system voltage and currents goes on increasing, it becomes clear that design of the circuit breaker needs careful attention. So its design actually needs the careful attention as the voltage of the voltage and the current is goes on increasing. So from the point of view of impact of switching operation on power system, safety of the circuit breaker and the safety of the operating personnel. So as the voltage and the current goes on increasing, as the voltage and the current goes on increasing, it becomes clear that the design of the circuit breaker needs careful attention from the point of view of impact of switching operation in the power system, safety of the circuit breaker and the safety of the operating personnel. Now, this figure shows the simple knife switch, which is the forerunner of all the modern breakers. So it is a knife switch which contains a fixed contact and then moving contact, and then here we will have the fixed contact, and this is the moving contact inside, and this is actually the handle which is used for that. Now, in this arrangement, the stationary contact is designed. The stationary contact is designed as to act as a spring to grip the movable blade, and it was observed that if the switch is not open quickly or it is not open completely, then in that very case the arc may continue so long that it may melt the contacts, destroying this knife switch. So a simple knife switch is modified by designing a knife switch in which the handle is connected to the blade through a spring, as shown here. The spring opens the circuit more rapidly and more consistently than is possible by the hand, so it giving a much needed snap action to the circuit breaking operation. In addition, the jaws of the the jaws that hold the knife, this one, then that holds the knife blade in the closed position, are secured together by the external springs that are not in the circuit path and are therefore less likely to deteriorate through the heating. So the use of spring to open the knife blade soon led to an automatic device in which the energy for operating the contacts is stored during the closing operation. That is, energy for operating of contact, energy for operating is stored during the closing operation. It is stored during the closing operation, and then only a small force and small time is needed to open the switch by means of the simple latch that, when it is tripped, releases the stored energy that opens the contacts. So the switch now becomes a true circuit breaker which can interrupt the current under the predetermined condition. Now, the circuit breaker is indeed is a simple as well as a complex device. Now, circuit breaker is a simple as well as the complex device. Simple because it is used to make and break the circuit. Because it is used to make and break the circuit, due to which it is a simple device. And complex because in order to accomplish this simple task, a lots of interaction has to take place inside and outside the circuit breaker in a few of the milliseconds. So interactions would be there. Now, figure here shows the various interactions which takes place with the various entities within and outside the circuit breaker. Now, you will see that it is seen from the figure. You will have a circuit breaker here, and it is seen from the figure that there is the power system on each sides. That is, on the each sides we have the electrical power system consisting of RLC, electrical power system consisting of sources R, L and C. These in turn governed by the laws of electrical energy. Then the circuit breaker itself is a system of fixed and the moving contacts. Here you will see. So we therefore have some kind of mechanical linkage. So you can say that some kind of mechanical linkage is there within that to move the movable contacts. The centerpiece of entire activity is the arc, which is struck in the medium, like the center point of all the activity is actually the arc, and that arc is struck in the medium. Like we will have, what is the medium? The medium that we will have is the air, oil, SF6, vacuum, etc. So the behavior of the arc is very complex, and at times it is understood only empirically. Empirically, we can understand the behavior of these. So the arc consists of the plasma. Now, arc actually consists of the plasma, and for optimum handling of the arc, we need to study the we have the arc phenomena. Then we have the plasma. For the optimum handling, we need to study the aerodynamics of this plasma, and we need to study the fluid dynamics of plasma also in this case. Now, heat and mass transfer we also have to study, not forgetting the fact that the contact material plays a very important role for this whatever material we have used. It plays a very important role in deciding the fate of the arc as well. Now, arc is almost inertialess, as we know the fact that arc is inertialess. We can have the inertialess arc. So since this arc is actually the inertialess, so it is very easily affected by the magnetic field. So it is very easily affected by the magnetic field, which can be generated by arc itself or using some external mechanisms, which can be generated by the arc or using from external mechanism. So we can take advantage of the fact that designing the shape of the fixed and moving contacts in such a way that it helps to design in such a way that it helps in. Now we can take the advantage of this fact that designing the shape of the fixed and moving contacts in such a way that it helps the manipulating the arc to our advantage. Manipulating this arc to our advantage. So many disciplines of science of engineering, like plasma physics, material science, like we will have plasma physics, then we will have the material science, fluid mechanics, heat and mass transfer, mechanical engineering, electrodynamics and electrical power system engineering are involved in the design and operation of the circuit breaker. Now, in the light of above discussion, if you see that it will not be surprised that there is a variety of circuit breakers. There are a variety of circuit breakers, and all sorts of interrupting media has been tried with their own plus and minus points, and some circuit breakers make use of extremely heavy medium, while some avoid any medium at all. So it depends on the what is our requirement, what's the voltage level. So figure here shows the evolution of the circuit breaker, starting from the we will have the knife switch, then we will have the spring loaded knife switch, then we will have the air circuit breaker, bulk coil circuit breaker, minimum circuit breaker, and then air blast circuit breaker, SF6 circuit breaker, and the vacuum circuit breaker. So it is the this circuit breakers. Now we can discuss the behavior of the air, gases and vacuum at high voltages. Now behavior of air, gases and the vacuum at high voltages. Now 1 atmosphere, if you see 1 atmosphere is equals to 760 mm of mercury at 0 degrees Celsius. And 1 millimeter of the mercury, 1 mm of the mercury is equals to 1 torr. So vacuum pressures are classified according to that. Now, if let us suppose that if the this is vacuum is pressure is between 10 raised power minus 3 torr to 10 raised power minus 6, then it is the high vacuum. and if it is 10 raised power minus 6 to 10 raised power minus 8, then it is very high. And if it is 10 raised power, it is below, that is less than 10 raised power minus 9 torr, then definitely it is ultra high vacuum. So operation of various types of circuit breakers depends upon the behavior of the various media in which the circuit is broken. That is air, oil, gases in the vacuum. So it is pertinent to appreciate that how these media behave at the high voltage. So we have to take this into consideration. Now, the figure here shows the relationship between the dielectric strength of the air as a function of the pressure. On the x-axis we will have the pressure, and on the y-axis we have the dielectric strength of the air. Now, from this figure, what we observed, we observed that the dielectric strength, that is after 10 raised power 3, after this 10 raised power 3, the dielectric strength increases almost linearly for the pressure, that is increases almost linearly with the increase in the pressure. That is dielectric strength above 10 raised power minus 3 bar centimeter. So it has the linear relationship with the pressure, and below this pressure there is actually the inverse relationship between the dielectric strength and the air pressure. Now, this is the relationship between the dielectric strength of air as a function of the pressure. Now, second one, it shows the influence of the interelectrode gap on the dielectric strength. Interelectrode gap on the dielectric strength. Now, from this, what is observed? It is observed that a gap of 10 mm, that is 1 centimeter, you will see that this is the distance between the electrode in mm, and this is actually the voltage in kV. Now, the gap of 10 mm here at this point will break down at 30. This is the 30 kV, and dielectric strength, that is, will break down as 30 kV if the air is used as the dielectric. If we are using the air as a dielectric, this is the air at dielectric at 1 bar. Now, if air is used as the dielectric with 1 bar, and if same SF6 is used as a dielectric, in that very case, if you see, then is same with the same gap, you will see it has the higher breakdown strength, which is almost 110 kV. This is not 60 kV, and for this oil hydrogen, it is nearly about 110 kV. Now, if vacuum is used as a dielectric, if you see this line, dotted line, if the vacuum is used as a dielectric, then for the same gap, you will see that it will still have the higher breakdown strength, which is of about 170 kV. Now, if we are using the SF6 at 5 bars, if you see this diagram, if SF6 at high pressure, so if we use SF6 at 5 bar, it has the highest dielectric breakdown strength of nearly about 250 kV. So it can be seen, what we can observe, it can be seen that SF6 at higher pressure, that is 5 bar, at higher pressure is very attractive medium for the arc interruption. The arc consists of actually the ionized gas. The arc consists of the ionized gas, and the deionization plays a very important role in the arc extension of the arc. So figure here depicts the deionization time as a function of pressure for the various gases. So this is the deionization time. This is the time and this is the pressure for the various gases, for SF6 and for carbon dioxide, hydrogen, argon, helium and the air. So this is all about that. Now we will discuss the switch isolator and the circuit breaker. And the figure here shows the conceptual diagram of the circuit breaker, highlighting only the certain essential features without getting involved in the detailed mechanical arrangement in that. In this case, you will have the fixed contacts, then we will have the moving contact, then we will have the trip coil. Trip coil is wired to the trip battery, and this is normally open contacts, and when it is closed, then finally the latch is released, and as a result it is opened. And this signal is coming from the relay, and this is the manual trip. If you want to kind of close it manually, you can do that. So the main contacts of the breaker are kept in a closed position with the help of closing mechanism, which is consists of the spring. The energy is stored in the mechanism during the closing operation, is utilized for the quick opening of the breaker. Now, to trip the circuit breaker, what we have to do, we have to trip the to trip the circuit breaker, the trip coil is energized, which actually releases the latch of the mechanism, causing the closing spring to return to the normal position, and in that process retracting the moving contact and opening the circuit breaker. So what we have to do, the trip coil is energized first, which releases the latch and of the mechanism, causing the closing spring to return to the normal position, and in that process retracting and the moving contact and thus opening the circuit breaker. Now the normally closed contact called the auxiliary contact moves from the normally this closed to the open as circuit breaker contacts are open, which is wired to the trip circuit as shown here, and is coupled to the movable contact such that it moves from the normally closed to the normally open as shown here. So it does interrupting the flow of the current through the trip circuit after the opening of the circuit breaker. Now, apparently a switch is actually an isolator. This is the mechanism of the circuit breaker. Now, the switch is an isolator and circuit breaker all seem to do the same job. All seems to do the same job, that is the electrical connection or disconnection. However, the difference between the duties expected to be performed by all the switching devices, that is the devices expected to perform but different duties, that is different duties are expected to be performed by all three switching devices, that is switch, isolator and the circuit breaker, and all the three are expected to carry the rated current in the continuous basis without the heating. So now the figure here shows the connection of circuit breaker, isolator, switch and earthing switch in the high voltage system. Now here we will have the circuit breaker, here we will have the isolators, two isolators here we will have the switch, and here we will have the earthing switch. Now isolator can neither make or break circuit. Isolator can neither make or break circuit, even the normal load current. So it cannot make or break circuit and what is the reason for that? What is the main reason for that? The main reason is that it does not have the mechanism to extinguish the arc that is struck while breaking the contact. No mechanism for arc extinguishing that. So it does not make or break the circuit because there is no mechanism for the extinguish the arc which struck while breaking the contact. Now, if either making or breaking is attempted with an isolator, then in that very case, what happens? If that making or breaking is attempted with an isolator, then what happens if the attempt is made? then what happens? Then it will melt, the isolator will melt, vaporized, isolator will melt, it will vaporize, and exposing the operating personnel and equipment, exposing the person and equipment exposing the person and the equipment of an open electric arc in the air, off to the hazards of open electric arc in the air. Open electric arc in the air. So that is, it is exposed. Now, second is the switch. The switch is designed to handle the load current. This is the load switch. So switch is actually designed to handle the load current with some capacity to carry some overload. So some overload it can carry. So a switch is not designed to break or make the fault current. Now, next is the earthing switch. You will see. Now, the earthing switch is used to discharge the line, by connecting it to ground after opening of the breaker and the switch. Now, it is used to discharge the line by connecting it to ground after opening of breaker and the switch. What happens is that in a high voltage system, after the disconnection, substantial charge is trapped in the capacitance of the system, and that we have to remove it. Now, table here shows the various switching devices and their duties. Now, what are their duties? Now, you will see the device isolator. First one, it is used for physical isolation after the disconnection by the circuit breaker. Isolator, that is, it is used for the physical isolation after disconnection by the circuit breaker, and it will not operate at neither at no load, short circuit, at no load or short circuit. It will operate only it is used for isolating purposes. Now, earthing switch, closed while the high voltage equipment is isolated. So everything is no in that very case, and it is earthing switch is used for that very purpose, for discharging the charge. Now, switch used for switching on and off under the healthy condition. It is used at no load, it is used at the load current, it is used for the during the fault current. It cannot be used, switch cannot be used during the fault current. So same is this closing and then isolating. Yes, it can be used. Contactor, it is used for automated switching operations, and it cannot be used under the short circuit, that is faulty conditions, and for all other cases it can be used. Now, for circuit breaker, it has to be able to successfully operate under all the conditions. Everything is yes in that, and that is the everything is circuit breaker. It can be a circuit breaker is an isolator, it can be switch, it can be contactor. So this is the different devices and the various switching devices and their duties. Now, thank you very much for this lecture. We can continue with the process of breaking the current in the next lecture.